Implementation of Trump's 5-point strategy in Gaza by Q2 2024, comprehensive overview. Introduction. The implementation of Trump's 5-point strategy in Gaza is set to unfold by the second quarter of 2024 with an ambitious agenda aimed at revitalizing the region through substantial infrastructure investments and advanced technological deployments. This plan, which involves a total investment of $1.8 billion, is geared towards enhancing surveillance and intelligence sharing across defense sectors to bolster regional security. However, it has sparked significant controversy and debate among various stakeholders regarding its implications for the socio-political landscape of Gaza. Key components of the strategy. 1. Infrastructure investment. Central to Trump's strategy is the allocation of $1.8 billion for the modernization of Gaza's infrastructure. This funding is intended to create sustainable facilities that can withstand the ongoing conflict and provide essential services to the population. The emphasis on infrastructure is seen as a critical step towards stabilizing the region and fostering a sense of normalcy amidst the turmoil. 2. Surveillance and intelligence sharing. The strategy highlights the need for enhanced intelligence capabilities which are deemed essential for preempting security threats. By promoting better coordination and information sharing between defense sectors, the plan aims to create a more responsive security environment that can effectively address potential dangers. 3. Population resettlement. An integral aspect of the strategy involves the potential mass relocation of certain populations within Gaza. This controversial element has raised questions about legality and ethical considerations as it may infringe on the rights of Palestinian residents and exacerbate existing tensions in the area. Integration of information from various sources. According to reports from sources like NPR, Al Jazeera, and Reuters, the strategy is multifaceted and has elicited a range of responses. NPR provides a broad overview of the strategy's intentions, emphasizing the goal of American intervention to stabilize Gaza. The report suggests that this intervention is necessary to reshape a deeply fractured socio-political landscape. Al Jazeera focuses on the backlash from various stakeholders, including legal experts and local leaders, who have raised concerns about the strategy's legality and its potential to exacerbate tensions in Gaza. The report highlights the critical stance taken by UN officials who denounce the plan as unlawful. Reuters captures immediate reactions from Hamas officials who warn that Trump's remarks about a potential takeover could lead to increased violence and unrest in the region. This perspective underscores the dangers of inflammatory rhetoric in a highly volatile context. Timeline of events. 1. Announcement of the strategy. The 5-point strategy was publicly announced in early 2025, detailing the proposed investments and interventions in Gaza. 2. Initial reactions. By early February 2025, U.S. officials began to clarify and walk back certain elements of the plan in response to rising criticism. This indicates a recognition of the potential pitfalls associated with the strategy. 3. International response. Following the announcement, UN officials and local leaders expressed strong opposition to the plan. Concerns were raised regarding its compatibility with international law and the potential violation of Palestinian rights. 4. Hamas's reaction. Hamas officials in early February 2025 issued warnings that the proposed strategy could ignite further conflict, emphasizing the need for careful consideration of the rhetoric surrounding a potential takeover of Gaza. Controversy and pushback. The implementation of Trump's strategy has been met with substantial criticism from various quarters. Critics argue that the proposed mass relocation of populations could lead to severe humanitarian consequences and further destabilize the region. Legal experts have also questioned the strategy's compliance with international law, suggesting that it may infringe on the rights of Palestinians. UN officials have been particularly vocal in their opposition, arguing that the plan could exacerbate existing tensions and lead to unlawful actions against civilian populations. This has sparked a broader debate about the implications of U.S. intervention in Gaza and its potential impact on the long-standing Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Conclusion: while Trump's five-point strategy aims to bring about significant transformation in Gaza through infrastructure investment and enhanced defense capabilities, it faces considerable legal, ethical, and political challenges. The differing perspectives highlighted in various sources illustrate the complexities surrounding international intervention in conflict zones, particularly in a region as sensitive as Gaza. As the plan moves forward, it will be crucial for stakeholders to navigate the intricate landscape of international law, human rights, and regional stability to achieve a sustainable resolution to the ongoing conflict. The next few months will be critical in determining the actual impact of this strategy on the ground and its potential to reshape the future of Gaza. The implementation of Trump's five-point strategy in Gaza by Q2 2024 is a multifaceted initiative that proposes a significant infrastructure investment and advanced technological deployment aimed at enhancing surveillance and intelligence sharing across defense sectors. The strategic plan, highlighted by an anticipated $1.8 billion investment, is intended to modernize key facilities and improve capabilities for monitoring and responding to security threats within the region. Key components of the strategy. 1. Infrastructure investment. The crux of the five-point strategy is the substantial funding earmarked for creating sustainable infrastructure in Gaza. This investment is aimed at both civilian and military enhancements, thereby contributing to a dual purpose of stabilizing the region while simultaneously bolstering military capabilities. The focus on infrastructure suggests a long-term vision for Gaza where improved physical and technological frameworks could facilitate better governance and security. 2. Surveillance and intelligence sharing. Another critical aspect of the strategy is the emphasis on improved surveillance and intelligence sharing among defense sectors. This is posited as essential for preemptively addressing threats and maintaining security in a volatile region. By enhancing intelligence capabilities, the plan seeks to provide a more robust defense mechanism that could potentially mitigate risks associated with ongoing conflicts. 3. Controversy and legal challenges. The strategy has not been without its critics. Reports indicate that U.S. officials are already backtracking on certain elements of the plan due to legal and ethical concerns. Critics, including UN officials and local leaders, worry that the proposed interventions could infringe upon the rights of Palestinian residents and exacerbate existing tensions. This backlash highlights the complexity of implementing foreign strategies in conflict zones where legal ramifications and ethical considerations are paramount. Divergent perspectives on the strategy. The varying perspectives from different news sources underscore the contentious nature of the strategy. NPR provides a broad overview focusing on the strategic intentions behind the investment and interventions, framing them as necessary for regional stability. Al Jazeera, however, emphasizes the backlash from legal experts and activists who challenge the legitimacy of the plan, raising alarms about its implications for human rights and international law. Reuters captures the immediate political ramifications by highlighting reactions from Hamas officials, who warn that Trump's rhetoric regarding a takeover could incite further violence. Timeline of events. The timeline surrounding the announcement and subsequent reactions to Trump's five-point strategy is telling. 1. Announcement. The strategy is publicly announced in early 2025, outlining ambitious plans for infrastructure and technology investment. 2. Initial reactions. By early February 2025, U.S. officials begin to clarify and retract certain aspects of the plan in response to rising criticism suggesting a lack of consensus on the strategy's execution. 3. International response. The backlash grows as UN officials and local leaders express strong opposition to the plan, citing potential violations of international law and human rights. 4. Hamas's reaction. Hamas officials warn that the proposed changes and comments about taking over Gaza are inflammatory and could lead to escalated violence, indicating a deepening divide and heightened tensions. Counterintuitive information. 1. Legal backtracking. A key counterintuitive aspect of the strategy is the rapid legal pushback from U.S. officials shortly after its announcement. The expectation might have been that a strong definitive plan would proceed unchallenged. However, the immediate clarification and retraction of elements suggest a recognition of the complexities and potential legal violations inherent in the plan. 2. Investment versus intervention. While the strategy advocates for substantial financial investment in infrastructure, which would typically be perceived as a positive, the context of military enhancement and surveillance raises questions about the true nature of the investment. The duality of funding for both civilian and military applications creates a paradox where financial aid intended for improvement could simultaneously lead to increased conflict and instability. 3. Public sentiment versus strategic goals. The tension between the stated goals of U.S. intervention as a stabilizing force versus the local and international backlash illustrates a disconnect. While the U.S. may frame its involvement as necessary for peace and security, the immediate responses from local populations and international bodies challenge this narrative, highlighting a counterintuitive perception of intervention as a source of conflict rather than resolution. 4. Focus on enhanced surveillance. The emphasis on enhanced surveillance and intelligence sharing may seem a logical step in a security strategy. However, the backlash against perceived invasion of privacy and autonomy raises counterintuitive concerns that such actions could lead to greater unrest and opposition from the local populace rather than the intended stabilization. Conclusion. Trump's 5-point strategy in Gaza, while ambitious in its aims for infrastructure investment and enhanced surveillance capabilities, is fraught with controversy and legal challenges. The differing perspectives and reactions from various stakeholders reveal a complex landscape where intentions may clash with realities on the ground. The counterintuitive elements of the strategy, particularly regarding legal challenges, the dual nature of investment, public sentiment, and the focus on surveillance, illustrate the intricate dynamics of international intervention in a deeply contested environment like Gaza. As the strategy unfolds, it remains to be seen how these tensions will be navigated and whether the intended goals of stability and security can be achieved amidst the backdrop of conflict and opposition. The report on Trump's 5-point strategy for Gaza is laden with critical insights and implications that many may overlook. Here are the significant aspects that deserve more attention along with their significance. 1. Legal and ethical implications of U.S. intervention. While many discussions surrounding the strategy focus on its military and infrastructural aspects, the legal ramifications of U.S. intervention in Gaza are profound. The criticisms from UN officials and legal experts highlight potential violations of international law. This is significant because it raises questions about the legitimacy of U.S. actions in the region and could lead to international legal challenges against the U.S. government. The conversation about legality is crucial, as it could impact not only how the strategy is implemented but also how it is perceived globally, potentially isolating the U.S. on the international stage. 2. Human rights concerns and local impact. The plan involves the mass relocation of populations, which is a sensitive issue not only politically but also ethically. The rights of Palestinian residents are at stake, and this aspect should not be overshadowed by discussions about military strategy or infrastructure development. Ignoring human rights implications can lead to increased tensions and unrest, as local populations may view these actions as further encroachments on their sovereignty and rights. The significance here lies in the potential for exacerbating violence and instability in an already volatile region. 3. Intelligence sharing and surveillance technology. The emphasis on enhanced surveillance and intelligence sharing is crucial but often receives less scrutiny than other components of the strategy. The deployment of advanced technologies raises concerns about privacy, data security, and the potential for misuse. The implications of such technologies can lead to increased surveillance of civilians, potentially violating their rights and freedoms. This aspect is significant as it reflects broader trends in the use of technology in warfare and governance, which can set precedents for future conflicts. 4. Impact on U.S.-Middle East relations. The strategy's focus on a takeover and military intervention could have long-term consequences for U.S. relations with other Middle Eastern countries. The reactions from Hamas and local leaders indicate a potential for increased hostilities and resistance to U.S. influence in the region. This aspect is significant because it suggests that the strategy could undermine decades of U.S. diplomatic efforts aimed at fostering stability and peace in the Middle East. 5. Response from regional actors. The report notes the reactions from Hamas officials and other local leaders, which indicate a strong likelihood of backlash against U.S. interventions. This is a critical point that may be overlooked, as it emphasizes the importance of understanding local dynamics and the potential for increased violence. The significance lies in recognizing that any external intervention must consider the historical and socio-political context of the region, which is complex and fraught with sensitivities. 6. The role of media narratives. The differing narratives presented by sources like NPR, Al Jazeera, and Reuters illustrate the media's role in shaping public perception of the strategy. While NPR may focus on the broader implications of the plan, Al Jazeera and Reuters provide critical perspectives on local responses and legal challenges. This disparity is significant as it highlights how media framing can influence public opinion and policy decisions. Understanding these narratives is essential for a comprehensive view of the situation and its potential outcomes. 7. Timing and political context. The timeline of events is also noteworthy. The strategy's announcement and the subsequent pushback from officials indicate a dynamic political landscape. The timing suggests that the strategy could be a response to broader geopolitical shifts or domestic pressures within the U.S. This aspect is significant because it may reveal underlying motivations that are not immediately apparent, such as electoral considerations or responses to international criticism. 8. Long-term consequences for Gaza. Finally, while the report discusses immediate investments and military enhancements, it gives less attention to the long-term consequences for Gaza itself. The focus on infrastructure development must be viewed in light of the socio-economic realities facing the region. If the strategy fails to address underlying issues such as poverty, unemployment, and political disenfranchisement, the investments may not lead to sustainable peace or stability. This long-term perspective is significant as it challenges the notion that military and infrastructural solutions alone can resolve deep-rooted conflicts. Conclusion. In summary, while Trump's 5-point strategy for Gaza is framed as a comprehensive plan for security and development, several critical aspects often go unnoticed. Legal and ethical implications, human rights concerns, the impact of technology, regional dynamics, media narratives, political context, and long-term consequences for the local population all play vital roles in understanding the potential outcomes of this strategy. Engaging with these overlooked elements is crucial for a nuanced understanding of the complexities surrounding U.S. involvement in Gaza and its broader implications for international relations and regional stability. 1. Infrastructure investment and economic implications. The proposed $1.8 billion investment in Gaza's infrastructure is a cornerstone of Trump's 5-point strategy. This funding aims to create sustainable infrastructure and enhance military capabilities, which could have long-term economic implications for the region. An in-depth analysis of how such investments could stimulate local economies, create jobs, and potentially lead to stability could be explored. However, the effectiveness of this investment hinges on the political climate and the acceptance of the local population. Discussions could include whether such investments are viable in a conflict-ridden area and how they could be perceived by both Palestinian residents and international stakeholders. 2. Surveillance and intelligence sharing. The emphasis on improved surveillance and intelligence sharing marks a significant shift in defense strategy. A detailed examination of the technologies proposed for deployment and their implications for civil liberties and privacy in Gaza is crucial. This point raises questions about the balance between security and human rights, especially in a region where distrust of governmental authority is high. An analysis could delve into the potential consequences of increased surveillance on local populations, including the risk of exacerbating tensions and the ethical considerations surrounding such a strategy. 3. Legal and ethical challenges, the backlash against the strategy. Particularly concerns regarding its legality under international law and human rights implications presents a critical area for discussion. Analyzing the legal framework surrounding U.S. intervention in foreign conflicts and the potential violations of Palestinian rights could provide insights into the broader implications of the strategy. This point could also explore historical precedents of U.S. interventions and their outcomes, offering a comparative perspective on the potential ramifications of Trump's plan. For political reactions and regional stability, the varied reactions from different stakeholders, including U.S. officials, UN representatives, and Hamas, highlight the complex political landscape in Gaza. A comprehensive discussion could focus on the potential for increased tensions and violence as a result of this strategy. Analyzing how the rhetoric of takeover affects relations between Israel-Palestinian groups and the international community can provide a deeper understanding of the political dynamics at play. This includes exploring how local leaders and communities might respond to U.S. involvement and the implications for peace negotiations in the region. 1. The Marshall Plan 1948–1952. After World War II, the United States initiated the Marshall Plan to rebuild European economies. This program involved over $12 billion, approximately $130 billion in today's terms, in economic assistance to help restore war-torn regions, remove trade barriers, modernize industry, and improve European prosperity. Similar to the proposed infrastructure investments in Gaza, the Marshall Plan aimed to create a sustainable recovery and foster stability in a region facing significant socio-political challenges. However, it also faced criticism regarding its motivations and implications for sovereignty. 2. The reconstruction of Japan 1945–1952. Following Japan's defeat in World War II, the U.S. implemented extensive reforms to rebuild the nation, focusing on political, economic, and social restructuring. This included significant financial aid and the introduction of democratic institutions aiming to prevent the rise of militarism and ensure lasting peace. The program involved substantial investment in infrastructure and technology, resembling the proposed strategy for Gaza. However, it also raised questions about the effects of foreign intervention and the balance between aid and control. 3. The Camp David Accords 1978. In an effort to stabilize the Middle East and promote peace between Israel and Egypt, U.S. President Jimmy Carter facilitated negotiations leading to the Camp David Accords. This agreement included provisions for economic aid and military assistance to Egypt, aiming to reshape the political landscape of the region. Similar to the proposed U.S. intervention in Gaza, the accords involved significant American involvement in Middle Eastern affairs and sparked debate over the legitimacy and consequences of such actions on local populations and sovereignty. The implementation of Trump's 5-point strategy in Gaza, projected for completion by Q2 2024, aims to reshape the region through substantial investments and advanced technology for surveillance and intelligence sharing. This strategy, with its planned $1.8 billion funding, is intended to modernize Gaza's infrastructure and enhance the capabilities of defense sectors to manage security threats effectively. Future outlook and predictions. 1. Infrastructure improvements. By mid-2024, we can expect visible changes in Gaza's infrastructure. The $1.8 billion investment will likely lead to the construction of new facilities and the rehabilitation of existing ones. This modernization will include the development of energy-efficient buildings, improved transportation networks, and enhanced communication systems, which are crucial for both civilian and military operations. 2. Technological advancements. The deployment of cutting-edge technology for surveillance and intelligence is anticipated to significantly alter the security landscape in Gaza. Enhanced surveillance systems, including drones and AI-driven analytics, will improve real-time monitoring capabilities. By late 2024, this technological integration is expected to result in better threat assessment and faster response times, thus potentially reducing violence in the region. 3. Increased intelligence sharing. The strategy emphasizes collaboration between U.S. defense sectors and local authorities in Gaza. By Q2 2024, we may witness the establishment of formal intelligence sharing frameworks that will facilitate better coordination against extremist threats. This cooperation could lead to joint operations and training exercises, fostering a more secure environment. 4. Political and social implications. The implementation of the 5-point strategy is likely to have profound political implications. The plan, particularly the mass relocation of populations, will encounter significant resistance from local leaders and international bodies. By mid-2025, we may see escalating tensions as opposition groups, including Hamas, respond to perceived threats to their autonomy. The potential for increased unrest and violence remains high, especially if the local population feels marginalized by US-backed initiatives. 5. International reactions and legal challenges. The backlash from UN officials and human rights organizations will likely intensify as the strategy unfolds. Predictions indicate that by late 2024, legal challenges against the U.S. intervention in Gaza will emerge, focusing on the legality of American actions under international law. The potential for sanctions or other diplomatic repercussions could complicate U.S. relations with other nations in the region. 6. Long-term stability versus short-term gains. While the strategy aims to create immediate security improvements, the long-term stability of Gaza remains uncertain. By 2026, the effectiveness of the infrastructure and technological investments will be evaluated against the backdrop of ongoing political turmoil. The success of this strategy in fostering lasting peace will depend on addressing the underlying socio-political issues rather than solely focusing on military enhancements. 7. Humanitarian impact. The approach may have unintended humanitarian consequences. Increased surveillance and military presence could lead to heightened tensions between local residents and US-backed forces. Predictions suggest that by mid-2025, humanitarian organizations may report worsening conditions for civilians, leading to international calls for a reassessment of the strategy. 8. Shift in regional dynamics. As the strategy progresses, it could alter the balance of power in the region. By 2025, the involvement of the U.S. in Gaza may provoke reactions from neighboring countries, leading to shifts in alliances and increased tensions in broader Middle Eastern politics. Countries like Iran and Turkey may ramp up support for Palestinian factions, further complicating the situation. Conclusion. The implementation of Trump's 5-point strategy in Gaza represents a significant shift in U.S. foreign policy towards the region. While the projected infrastructure investments and technological enhancements promise to improve security, the strategy faces substantial opposition and legal challenges that could impede its success. The future outlook suggests a complex interplay of political, social, and humanitarian factors that will shape Gaza's trajectory well into 2025 and beyond. The effectiveness of the strategy will ultimately hinge on its ability to address deep-rooted grievances while fostering a more stable and secure environment for all residents.